She made a joke about my salary in front of her rich friends. I asked her to stop. She snapped. "It's just a joke. Lighten up or go home." I nodded. I didn't make a scene. But when she came home to find the locks changed and her stuff outside, she finally learned who pays the mortgage. The thing about dating someone obsessed with appearances is that eventually you become part of the appearance, a prop in their performance. I just didn't realize it until I was standing in my own living room being mocked for my salary. Let me set the scene properly. I'm 34, civil engineer. I make $96,000 a year working for the city's public works department. Not Silicon Valley money, but solid upper middle class income. I own a house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, nice neighborhood, bought it 4 years ago when the market dipped. Mortgage is $2,100 a month. My name on the deed, my credit on the loan. My girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, but we're getting there, is Lauren. 31. Works in pharmaceutical sales. Makes around $67,000 base plus commission that varies wildly. Some months she pulls $8,000, other months $4,000. Averages out to maybe $75,000 a year total. We'd been together 18 months. She had her own apartment across town, small 1-bedroom, $1,200 a month. She stayed at my place most weekends, kept some clothes there, a toothbrush, the basics. But she maintained her own place, paid her own rent, we split dates and dinners. I wasn't supporting her. That's important for later. Lauren had this friend group, call them the wannabe elite. 5 women she met through some young professionals networking thing. They all presented as wildly successful, designer everything, luxury cars, fancy brunches at expensive restaurants where they'd post 1,000 photos. Here's what I noticed that Lauren didn't. They were all faking it. Melissa drove a BMW 5 Series. Leased. I saw the paperwork once when she left it on Lauren's counter. $850 a month for a car she didn't own. Tiffany carried a Louis Vuitton bag everywhere. Talked about her investment pieces. That bag was a replica. I know because my sister collects authentic Louis Vuitton and pointed out the flaws when I showed her a photo. Wrong stitching, incorrect stamp, cheap hardware. Natasha wore Louboutins to every event. The red soles were painted on. Actual Louboutins have a specific finish. Hers were scuffed in ways authentic ones wouldn't be. Jennifer always talked about her downtown loft. I drove past it once. It was a studio apartment in a mediocre building. The loft was marketing language for high ceilings. And Courtney, the ringleader, claimed to be in private equity. I looked her up on LinkedIn. She was an administrative assistant at an investment firm. $45,000 a year. But they all fed off each other's illusions. Designer knockoffs, leased cars, rented jewelry, financed furniture, living for Instagram, drowning in debt, pretending to be something they absolutely were not. Lauren was getting sucked into it. Started buying designer bags she couldn't afford. Started caring about brands. Started posting photos of casual Saturday brunches that cost $80 per person. I didn't care how she spent her money, her income, her choice. But I started noticing she was increasingly embarrassed about what I did for work. "What does your boyfriend do?" someone would ask. She'd hesitate. "He's an engineer." Not untrue, but the way she said it, leaving out civil and public sector, made it sound like I was designing rocket ships for SpaceX instead of reviewing permit applications for commercial buildings. 3 weeks ago, Lauren asked if she could host a dinner party at my house. "My apartment's too small. Your place is so much nicer. The kitchen is amazing. I want to have the girls over." "Sure. When? Saturday? I'll cook." "Well, I'll order catering, but I'll arrange everything." Red flag number 1. She was ordering catering for a home dinner party. That's $500 minimum, but fine. Her money. Saturday came. I helped her set up. She'd rented plates, glasses, silverware from some event company. Actual rented dishware for a casual dinner with 5 friends. The invoice was on the counter, $380 for one night, plus a $150 delivery fee. "Why not just use my regular dishes?" I'd asked. "Because these are Bernardin. The girls will notice." The girls would notice the specific brand of rented plates. Sure. The wannabe elite arrived at 7 p.m. precisely, all driving up in their leased luxury cars. All in designer outfits I now strongly suspected were either rented or fake. Air kissing, squealing. "Oh my God, your hair! Is that the new Prada? You look amazing!" Taking photos in my entryway, professional level photos. They had a ring light. Someone brought an actual ring light to a dinner party. I was introduced as Lauren's boyfriend, not by name, just the boyfriend. We sat down for dinner. Catered Italian from some restaurant downtown. It actually was good, I'll admit that. The conversation started immediately. "So Melissa, how was Milan?" Courtney asked. "Incredible. The shopping is unmatched. I got this bag." She held up a Gucci from the flagship store. The bag was fake. I could tell because the Gucci double G logo was slightly off-center. Authentic ones are perfectly aligned. My sister had shown me what to look for. "I'm so jealous," Natasha said. "I haven't been to Europe since Paris last spring." Paris. I happened to know from Lauren that Natasha had spent a weekend in Paris, Texas. Not France, Texas. She'd posted photos strategically cropped to avoid showing where she actually was. "Jennifer, how's the new position?" Tiffany asked. "Exhausting. I'm working on 3 major cases right now. Corporate law is so demanding." Jennifer was a legal secretary at a 3-person law firm. She filed papers and scheduled appointments. She was not working on cases. This went on for 20 minutes, everyone trading fake accomplishments like baseball cards. Then someone mentioned investments. "My portfolio is up 12% this quarter," Courtney said. "My advisor says I'm positioned perfectly for the market shift." Courtney's portfolio was probably a $500 Robinhood account, if that. "I'm thinking about buying property," Melissa said. "Investment property. Maybe a condo to rent out." Melissa, who leased her car and lived in a studio apartment, was going to buy investment property. Right? Then they turned their attention to me. "So what do you do?" Courtney asked, like she was interviewing me for a job I didn't want. "I'm a civil engineer. I work for the city." Her expression changed. Slight surprise, slight disappointment. "Oh, city work, that's stable." "Very. Must be nice. All those government benefits, the pension." The way she said it, like I was a postal worker. Not that there's anything wrong with postal workers, but her tone was dripping with condescension. "It's good work, I like it." Melissa chimed in. "What's the salary like for that, 6 figures?" Direct question. Rude, but direct. "Just under $96,000. The table went quiet. They all looked at Lauren. Lauren looked at her plate. Tiffany recovered first. "Well, that's good money. Very respectable." The others murmured agreement. But something had shifted. I'd given them a number. They could now place me in their hierarchy, and I was below them, or below where they pretended to be. Dessert came. Conversation continued. Then Courtney, 3 glasses of wine deep, decided to make a joke. "Lauren, honey, how do you afford those Valentino heels on a civil servant's salary?" The table laughed. Lauren laughed. "I buy my own shoes," she said. "Someone has to have taste in this relationship." More laughter. I didn't laugh. "Actually," I said calmly, "I bought those shoes. Birthday gift. Cost me $900. Lauren's face went red. "He's joking." "I bought them." I wasn't joking. I had bought them. For her birthday. I remembered because I'd thought $900 was insane for shoes. "Must be nice," Jennifer said, "having a boyfriend who pays for things even if he can't really afford it." "So sweet. Can't really afford it." I made $96,000 a year and owned a house. What the hell couldn't I afford? "I can afford it," I said. "Of course you can, sweetie," Courtney said in that patronizing tone. "Public sector is very stable, even if the pay isn't quite competitive with private sector." Lauren laughed again. Nervous laughter. "It's fine. He does fine. He does fine." Like I was a child who passed a test. "I mean," Natasha said, "at least you own a house. That's something, even if it's in this neighborhood." My neighborhood was perfectly nice. Middle class, safe, good schools. What was wrong with it? "What's wrong with this neighborhood?" I asked. "Nothing." Natasha backtracked. "It's lovely, very suburban. They were in my house, eating food. Lauren had bought with money she made working a job that paid less than mine, sitting in my dining room, making jokes about my salary." I looked at Lauren. "Can I talk to you in the kitchen?" "Now?" We're in the middle of dessert. "Now." She excused herself, followed me to the kitchen. "Tell them to stop," I said quietly. "Stop what?" "Making jokes about my salary, my job, this house. It's disrespectful." "They're just joking. They don't mean anything by it. It doesn't feel like joking. It feels like condescension. You're being sensitive. They're successful women. They're used to dating men who make more than them. It's just different for them." "I make more than you." "That's not the point." "Then what is the point?" The point is you're embarrassing me. They're my friends. I finally have successful friends who get my ambition, and you're being weird and making it awkward. I'm making it awkward by asking you to tell your friends not to mock my salary in my own house? It's just a joke. Lighten up or go home. I looked at her, really looked at her. She meant it. In my house, that I owned. She was telling me to lighten up or go home. I nodded. Okay. Okay, what? I'll go. I walked back to the dining room. The wannabe elite were laughing about something. Stopped when they saw me. Ladies, I'm heading out. You all have a good night. Lauren will clean up. Lauren followed me to the door. Where are you going? You told me to go home or lighten up. I'm going. Enjoy your party. You're being ridiculous. Maybe. Have fun. I left my own house at 9 p.m. on a Saturday night. Drove to a coffee shop. Sat there thinking, drinking overpriced coffee. Making a decision. At 10:30 p.m., I called a 24-hour locksmith. Explained I needed my locks changed. Tonight, emergency service, he could come at midnight. $400 for emergency call-out. I'll be there. At 11:45 p.m., I drove back to my house. Parked down the street. The wannabe elite's cars were still there. Lights on inside. They were still partying. The locksmith arrived at midnight. I met him at the curb. Can you work quietly? I asked. I can. What's the situation? Ending a relationship. I own the house. She doesn't live here officially, but she has a key. I need that key to stop working. Got it. Happens more than you'd think. He changed the front door lock, then the back door, then the garage. All new keys, all new locks. Took 45 minutes. The party was still going inside. They didn't hear anything over their music and laughter. I paid the locksmith, waited in my car. At 1:30 a.m., the wannabe elite finally left. I watched them stumble to their leased BMWs and replica handbags. Watched them drive away. Lauren was still inside, cleaning up probably. I waited. At 2 a.m., Lauren came out, locked the door behind her with her key, got in her car, drove away. She didn't live here. She had her own apartment. She just locked up my house and left. I waited another hour to be sure she wasn't coming back. At 3 a.m., I went inside. Gathered the clothes she kept there. Her toothbrush, her makeup, her shoes. Put everything in 2 boxes. Took the boxes outside. Put them on the front porch. Put a note on top. Lauren, relationship over. You told me to go home or lighten up in my own house. I went home. Now you can go to yours. Your key doesn't work anymore. Everything you left here is in these boxes. Don't contact me. Done. I left the boxes there, went back inside, locked the new lock, went to bed. Sunday morning, 6 a.m., my phone started ringing. Lauren. I didn't answer. 7 more calls. Then texts. Why isn't my key working? Did you change the locks? Are you serious right now? My stuff is outside? Answer your phone. This is insane. You can't kick me out of my home. Her home. The house I owned, that she didn't pay for, that she didn't live in officially. I responded once. You have your own apartment. Go there. We're done. More calls. More texts. I blocked her number. Around noon, my doorbell rang. I looked through the window. Lauren was back. With Courtney. Courtney was holding her phone, recording. Of course she was. I didn't answer. They knocked. Rang the bell. Knocked more. Lauren yelled through the door. I know you're in there. Open the door. Courtney chimed in. This is illegal. You can't just kick someone out. I stayed quiet. Watched them through the window. They tried the door handle. Obviously it didn't work. New locks. Lauren kicked the door. Open up. Finally heard Courtney say, this is ridiculous. Call the police. We'll get them to make him open the door. I waited. 20 minutes later, a police car pulled up. Officer got out. Lauren immediately started talking, gesturing at the house, at the boxes still on the porch, at me through the window. The officer listened, took notes, then came to my door, knocked professionally. Sir, can you open the door, please? I opened it. Yes, officer? I'm Officer Williams. This woman says you locked her out of her residence and put her belongings outside without notice. Can you explain the situation? Happy to. This is my house. I bought it 4 years ago. Mortgage is in my name only. Deed is in my name only. Lauren is my girlfriend, ex-girlfriend now. She does not live here. She has her own apartment across town at 412 Riverside Drive, apartment 3B. She stayed here on weekends sometimes, but maintained her own residence. Last night, we broke up. I'm asking her to take her belongings and leave my property. Does she receive mail at this address? No, all her mail goes to her apartment. Does she pay rent or contribute to the mortgage? No, she has never paid rent or contributed to the mortgage. Does she have any utility bills in her name at this address? No, all utilities are in my name. The officer wrote this down, turned to Lauren. Ma'am, do you have any documentation showing this is your legal residence? Lease agreement? Utility bills? Bank statements with this address? Lauren's face went red. No, but I've been staying here. My stuff was here. How long have you been staying here? Weekends. For like a year. But you maintain your own apartment? Yes, but, ma'am, staying somewhere on weekends while maintaining your own apartment doesn't make you a legal resident. You're a guest. The homeowner has every right to ask a guest to leave. But he changed the locks without telling me. Did you have a key to his house? Yes. A key he gave you? Yes. That's a guest key. He can revoke that anytime. He doesn't need your permission to change locks on his own property. Courtney stepped forward, still filming. This is harassment. He's retaliating against her. Officer Williams looked at Courtney. Ma'am, I need you to put the phone away or I'll cite you for interfering with an investigation. I'm documenting police misconduct. There's no misconduct occurring. Put the phone away. Courtney lowered the phone, glaring. The officer turned back to Lauren. Ma'am, he's given you your belongings. You have your own apartment. There's nothing illegal happening here. I suggest you take your things and leave. If you continue to harass the homeowner, he can file a restraining order. Harass him? He embarrassed me. In front of my friends, he humiliated me. How did he embarrass you? Lauren looked at Courtney, at the officer, at the neighbors who were definitely watching now. He just did. Ma'am, hurt feelings aren't a crime. Take your belongings and go. Lauren looked like she might cry or scream or both. Courtney was standing behind her looking uncomfortable. This is about last night, isn't it? Lauren said. About the party. You're really ending this over a joke? I'm ending this because you told me to go home or lighten up in my own house after your friends spent an hour mocking my salary and my career. Then you called this place your home when you don't pay a cent toward it. My friends weren't mocking you. They were just being honest. You're so sensitive. The officer cleared his throat. Ma'am, you need to leave. Take your things and go. Courtney grabbed Lauren's arm. Come on, let's just go. They loaded the boxes into Lauren's car, drove away. The officer stayed back. You good? I'm good, thanks. Seen this before. People confuse staying over with living somewhere. You did the right thing documenting she has another address. He left. I went inside, changed the garage code just to be thorough. The rest of Sunday was quiet, blocked Lauren on social media, blocked her friends too. Monday morning, I got a text from an unknown number, Lauren using someone else's phone. I can't believe you embarrassed me like that in front of Courtney. She thinks I'm poor now because of you. Poor. Because she had to take her belongings from a house she didn't own. Because the illusion broke. I didn't respond. Tuesday, I got a call at work. HR. There's someone here to see you. Says it's personal. I went to the lobby. Melissa, the leased BMW one? Can we talk? About what? Lauren, she's devastated. Can you please just talk to her? No. We're done. She made her choice. It was just a joke. You totally overreacted. Did Lauren send you here? She's my friend. She's really upset. She has her own apartment to be upset in. Tell her to stay there. I walked away. HR later asked if I wanted security to prevent visitors. I said yes. Wednesday, I got an email from Courtney, the private equity administrative assistant. Long email, explaining how I'd humiliated Lauren, how I was controlling for changing the locks, how I'd trapped her in a relationship and then discarded her. I replied with one line. She has her own apartment, her own income, and her own life. I trapped nothing. Thursday night, my doorbell rang again. I checked the camera I'd installed Monday. Jennifer, with papers. I opened the door with the chain on. I'm a paralegal. Lauren asked me to deliver this. What is it? Demand letter for the value of items you disposed of. I disposed of nothing. I put her belongings in boxes and gave them to her. She says you threw away expensive items. She's lying. Everything she left here went into those boxes. She's missing a Chanel bag worth $4,000. She never had a Chanel bag at my house, and if she did, it was probably fake, like Tiffany's Louis Vuitton. Jennifer's face went red. Tiffany's bag is real. It's a replica, wrong stitching, cheap hardware, My sister collects authentic bags. She spotted it immediately. You don't know what you're talking about. I know you're all drowning in debt trying to look rich, leased cars, fake bags, rented jewelry, financed furniture. You're all broke pretending to be wealthy. And Lauren got caught up in it. We're successful businesswomen. You're an administrative assistant making $45,000 a year claiming to be in private equity, Courtney told me herself. Jennifer's mouth opened, closed. Courtney doesn't. She never said. She did. 6 months ago at a party, she was drunk and complaining about her boss. Said she made $45,000 and couldn't wait to move into private equity. I remembered because it was such an obvious lie compared to what she usually claims. Jennifer left without another word. Friday, things got interesting. I got a call from my buddy Derek. He's a detective with the local police department. Hey man, weird question. You know a Melissa Chen? Melissa. Leased BMW Melissa. Sort of. My ex's friend. Why? She filed a report claiming you vandalized her car. What? I haven't been near her car. That's what I figured. The vandalism was someone leaving a note on her windshield that said, "Nice lease." She claims it's harassment from you. I didn't do that, but it's accurate. She does lease that BMW. Derek laughed. Yeah, I figured. Just had to check. I told her a note stating a fact isn't vandalism or harassment. She wasn't happy. She's part of my ex's fake rich friend group. They all pretend to have money they don't have. Sounds exhausting. Apparently it is. Saturday, 1 week after the party, I got a Facebook message from Natasha. The painted-on Louboutin soles. I know what you've been saying about us. It's not true. We're successful. We work hard for what we have. I replied, you paint red soles on cheap shoes and call them Louboutins. That's not success. That's fraud. She blocked me. Sunday, I finally got the message I'd been waiting for. From Lauren. From her actual number, which I'd kept unblocked just to see. I know what you've been telling everyone. About my friends. You've ruined everything. They're all mad at me now. They think I told you their secrets. I didn't tell them anything they didn't already know about each other. I just said it out loud. Melissa's lease ends next month and she can't afford to renew it. Not my problem. Jennifer got fired from the law firm for claiming she was a paralegal when she's actually a legal secretary. Also not my problem. Courtney's roommate kicked her out because she hasn't paid rent in 3 months. Definitely not my problem. Tiffany's in debt consolidation. Sounds about right. You destroyed my friend group. I destroyed nothing. You all destroyed yourselves by pretending to be something you're not. I just stopped playing along. I hate you. You hate that I own my house and make my salary, and I'm fine with both. You wanted me to be embarrassed about being a civil engineer making $96,000 a year. I'm not. You and your friends should have spent less time pretending to be rich and more time being honest about who you actually are. She didn't respond. 2 weeks later, Derek called again. So that whole fake rich friend group, they've all filed restraining orders against each other. What? Yeah. Apparently they all started blaming each other for the facade falling apart. Melissa claims Courtney knew her bags were fake and told people. Courtney claims Jennifer lied about her job first. It's a whole mess. They're all suing each other for defamation. That's insane. That's what happens when you build friendships on lies. One truth gets out and the whole thing collapses. What actually happened? Like, how did it all fall apart? Derek laughed. Want the full story? Because it's good. Yeah, actually. Okay, so apparently after you called them all out, they started turning on each other. Melissa accused Courtney of telling you about the leases. Courtney said she never told you anything, so you must have figured it out yourself. Then Jennifer panicked because you'd called her out for lying about being a paralegal. She blamed Tiffany for setting unrealistic standards with her fake designer bags. Tiffany freaked out and claimed her bags were real, just that you were lying about them being fake. Natasha tried to play peacemaker, but then someone pointed out her Louboutins were painted fakes and she lost it. Jesus. It gets better. They all had this group chat, right? Someone leaked screenshots. Turned out they'd all been talking shit about each other behind their backs for months. Melissa calling Courtney's job embarrassing. Courtney calling Jennifer's apartment a dump. Jennifer mocking Tiffany's credit card debt. All while pretending to be best friends in person. That's brutal. The screenshots went semi-viral in their social circle. Now they're all damaged goods. Nobody wants to be seen with them because everyone knows they're fake. And they're suing each other? Yep. Melissa's suing Courtney for defamation for allegedly telling people her car was leased. Courtney's countersuing for slander. Jennifer's suing Tiffany for something, I forget what. It's a circular firing squad. They're all broke and they're spending money they don't have on lawyers. Wow. Yeah, you dodged a bullet with Lauren. I ran into Lauren once more. 3 months later, coffee shop. She looked different. Less makeup, normal clothes. No designer anything. Hey, she said quietly. Hey. I wanted to apologize for that night. You were right. They were awful. I was awful. Okay. I'm in therapy now, dealing with why I felt like I needed to impress those people, why I wasn't happy with what I actually have. That's good. I got my finances under control, paid off my credit cards, stopped buying things I couldn't afford. That's really good. And I'm sorry I made you feel small. You weren't small. I was. I wanted to seem bigger, so I made you seem smaller. I nodded. I appreciate that. Are you seeing anyone? Yeah, her name's Rachel. She's a teacher. Makes $52,000 a year. When someone asks what I do, she says, he's a civil engineer and he's really good at his job. No hesitation, no embarrassment. Lauren's eyes got watery. That's what I should have said. Yeah, it is. She left. I finished my coffee. I still own my house. Still make $96,000 a year. Still work for the city, reviewing permits and designing infrastructure. Lauren's still in her apartment. Last I heard, she got promoted. Still working on herself. The wannabe elite disbanded completely. Melissa moved back in with her parents. Courtney left the city. Jennifer's working retail. Tiffany filed bankruptcy. Natasha deleted all her social media, all that performance, all that debt, all for nothing. My house is still mine. My career is still solid. My mortgage gets paid every month. And when people ask what I do, I say I'm a civil engineer for the city. No hesitation, no embarrassment, because that's exactly what I am.